Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon Jabber HD, and today we have week 1 of the Hive Beedrill. We are against Daniel, aka Papa Boy, and the Toronto Weezings, which is very poetic because we faced off week 1 of last season, where we came out victorious 5-0 thanks to Umbreon walling his team after his Hariyama died. So hopefully we can continue that success, but it will be no easy task as he has quite the threatening team. He has Mega DNC, Weavile, Necrozma, Gengar, Empoleon, Chestnut, Flygon, Electros, Entei, Miltank, and Volbeat. Where the Z users, I know it shows Weavile, Electros, Entei, and Volbeat on here, but it's actually incorrect. It is instead the Necrozma, Gengar, and Flygon. He changed it, but I think whoever put it in the doc didn't notice that, so the information I had while building the team was, in fact, that the Z users were what was on the screen, but it doesn't usually affect my prep too much since I'm used to being in the IPA where all non-megas can use Z moves, so that doesn't really change too much for me. And our team, which I explained why we drafted what we drafted, so you can watch that if you are curious, and also why we are in Beedrill this season instead of Kakuna like last season. And this team, as a reminder though, is Tornadus Therian, Clefable, Mamoswine, Snorlax, Incineroar, Goodra, Sawk, Mega Slowbro, Tentacruel, Rotom-Fan, and Durant, with the Z users being Tornadus Therian, Goodra, Rotom-Fan, and Durant. And so looking at the matchup, obviously he has a very offensive, or not very offensive necessarily, but like very threatening offensive core with Mega DNC, Weavile, Gengar, Entei. All four of those are very threatening mons just in general, as well as they each have their ways to threaten my team. And they're also faster than a good chunk of my team, so that's very concerning because Tornadus Therian is the only thing that's faster than even 3 of those, and Weavile outspeeds my whole team. So that's he has a speed advantage, I would say, overall in the team, but I have my bulk, so I figured that I'm going to use my bulk to kind of counteract that offense. But the only problem is he has Necrozma, which kind of can take advantage of bulk a lot of times, so I have prepped very heavily for that Necrozma, in the sense that I have many ways to hamper it if need be. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the mons that I decided to bring. And when we look at this team, first up is Mega Slowbro, Scald, Flamethrower, Toxic, Slack Off with max HP, max Spadef investment, but plus defense nature, because I need it to be mixed for Mega DNC, as well as, if need be, I can honestly it can take on Weavile, since it knockoff is pretty weak when you're not knocking off an item, and Mega Slowbro has base 180 defense once mega'd, so even not mega'd, it's very high, so that's definitely not the biggest deal. But I don't have really dark resists that are great, because it's at least just on the team in general. I think the only 2 are Incineroar and Sawk, which both are coming, but Flamethrower is to hit that Weavile, so it doesn't just come in on me. And again, at this point, I thought that Weavile was Zmon, so that was kind of threatening. And so if I could hit Flamethrower, if it was trying to Swords Dance on me, maybe, then it would either do a ton, potentially kill it, depending on how the game was going. So, because the 130 special attack is nothing to mess with. So this, it's just a general, it switches in, it switches out because of Regenerator, and then eventually, if I need that extra bulk for, say, Weavile, then there you go. Obviously this guards against Entei, one of the mons I mentioned, but it has Toxic because, over any setup, because of Necrozma. I figured that Toxic was just more useful across the team, especially dealing with a Necrozma that could honestly set up on this mon. Then next up we have Snorlax, which similarly is running Toxic for the same reason of Necrozma. Also has Facade, Earthquake, Recycle. Again, mixed defenses for that Mega Diancie. Normal plus Ground hits everything, at least neutrally, so that's nice. And then Recycle with Papa Berry, with Gluttony, so I can just keep healthy. I don't really need Thick Fat because I'm not switching this in on Weavile or Entei, so Gluttony, easy bring, and this is just, you know, meant to be something I can switch into things. And it switches in to pretty much all of his mons, barring the Weavile and Entei. And then obviously like Chestnut for being a fighting type, so I think that this could be really solid. It's just a nice thing to switch in as long as I can keep recycling my berry. Then next up we have the power for this team being Choice Banded, Mamoswine, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Knockoff. I mean, Ice and Ground just kind of covers the team on its own. Knockoff is just to get rid of items if I feel like I need to, especially on Necrozma. And I mean, it needs to be this fast in case of max speed Necrozma, so unfortunately it's not going to be adamant, but should be still very strong since he doesn't really have great ice and ground responses, which I mean most teams don't. Then next up we have Sock here, which is Choice Scarf, so it's a solid revenge killer since I don't have anything that's faster than Weavile. Close combat, Knockoff, Earthquake. It covers the team pretty decently because he doesn't really have a lot of fighting resist, but Chestnut is really the biggest issue. The Chestnut and Necrozma are probably the biggest issue to this. And so Mold Breaker should counteract, I think it's put Prison of Armor on Necrozma, so Knockoff will do at least a little bit more, even though I know it won't like Go-Ko it or probably even 2-hit KO it once I knock off an item. But Toxic is there just in case, and then Earthquake for that, just for the utility in case I don't have to spam close combat and potentially get revenged by an E-Speed or an Ice Shard, since I'm lowering my defenses. But also, he doesn't have a flying type, so Earthquake actually hits, you know, everything. Since he's only got Levitator, since I'm using Mold Breaker, because I don't have a Defogger, and that's because the only potential defog I have is Tornadus, and I wanted these 4 moves: Superpower, Iron Tail, Knockoff, U-Turn, no flying move. Here's why: the main thing I'm going to use flying move on is that Chestnut, which shouldn't be staying in anyway. So I figure I can get away with not having a flying move, and I have obviously Choice Banded Mamoswine and the Incineroar that hopefully can beat the Chestnut. And so I'm running these 4 moves because it hits pretty much everything else, and it's the ultimate revenge killer in my mind, in that it revenge kills Mega Diancie, it revenge kills Gengar, it revenge kills it potentially can revenge kill the Entei depending on what health it's at. So it's my main form of speed, but it's bulky enough with the Assault Vest and the HP investment that it can take on the Gengar. Like, it can switch in directly and then knock it off. It can switch in on probably Flygon because Flygon's weak. It can probably take a hit from Electros and switch out. Like, it can take a hit if need be, but obviously Superpower hits the thing I would think switches into it, mainly being the Empoleon. And Electros I can just knock off and U-turn on, so those 2 being the main things I would think would switch in, and maybe the Miltank, which again Superpower would hit. So I think this could be a really nice mon. And lastly we have Incineroar. Shuckaberry is pretty much for the Entei. I didn't really know what item to put on this. And then worst case, if it had to be on Flygon, if it got out of control, because I'm not running Ice Beam on Mega Bro. So just in case, I don't think Flygon will destroy me because it's pretty weak, but just in case would be nice to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And then Flare Blitz, Knockoff, Earthquake, U-Turn covers the team as well as can get me out of there, and that's pretty nice. Weird EV spread, I know, but speed is to outspeed some of his slower stuff if they're not speed invested, such as the Empoleon and the Chestnut mainly, and Electros, which I think I already outspeed Electros normally, but mainly those two. And then this also is a Necrozma check, which also can get Earth Power, so Shuckaberry. And I wanted some power on it though, because I was realizing as the team was being built that, I mean, I have Band-Aid, Mamoswine, but that's about it. Like, everything else isn't super strong. I mean, I have Sock, but it's Scarfed, so it's gonna be kind of limited, so I figured this could help me break things, so that's why it's got attack investment, but then I still wanted it to be able to take hits, so it's got some investment on both sides to be able to take hits, but it's got the Intimidate, that should help a lot. And so that is the team that I am bringing, and so I'm gonna do some live editing real quick rather than saying I will be right back. So this is gonna look really weird for a couple seconds, but we're gonna be right back with the battle. And here we are with the battle team preview. He decided to bring the Entei, the Weavile, Gengar, Empoleon, Mega DNC, and Chestnut. As a reminder for everyone, his potential Z users, the only one he brought is Gengar, so Gengar is the only Z user. When I was in the battle, I don't think I even realized what mods could use Z. I'll be honest, I kind of rushed into this battle in that I did quick prep. Daniel asked if I could battle, and I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I could, I can prep in time. I said, later in the day, but I didn't really get, some stuff got in the way, so I didn't get around to it as early as I wanted to, so I definitely didn't prep as much as I probably should have, but regardless, I felt like I had a team that could win. Like, I'm not going to go into the battle if I didn't think I could win. Like, that's obviously not going to happen. So, this team, definitely scary. It has the 4 offensive threats that I pointed out earlier, and so my initial thoughts were correct in that those were the main offensive things, and it looks like it has Empoleon and Chestnut to round out defensively. So I want to say that I led with Tornadus because I think that he would lead potentially Empoleon to get up rocks or DNC to get off the Mega. So, or worst case, I can always switch out. Like, I felt like Tornadus was just a solid lead, and he does indeed lead that Empoleon. So I'm gonna go for the superpower because it might be able to hit KO, which it looks like it just might. It's very close because it might be a roll, but he gets up his rocks. So I don't have a defogger, so that's gonna be staying up. So I just go for superpower again. That's fine. He goes into his Gengar. I'm gonna go for knockoff just to get an item off it in case I can. As he actually goes for the Z move, which is the Gigavolt Havoc, and it does 89%. So I'm very weakened, but I had the Assault Vest with max HP is coming in clutch. I can U-turn out and just get out of there. And I can go into my Snorlax, which should take any hit. It goes for Sludge Wave, gets the poison, which is kind of annoying, but so be it, as it does put me in range to get my berry back, so I'm pretty healthy as I can just recycle it back. On him staying in with Sludge Wave, in case he had Focus Blast, that would have been annoying, but I now have my berry back, so I can either stay in and Earthquake or switch out. I decide Earthquake as he makes the good switch into his Chestnut, and I'm back to pretty much full health. So I can just go into my Slowbro here, which might be a weird thing to do, but I figured he might go for a fighting move, and then I could switch out into my Torn to take a grass move. But I did this without calcing, so yeah, I die, which is huge because Tornadus beats the Gengar set that he has, as we just saw. It beats the DNC with Iron Tail. He doesn't know that I don't have a flying move, so he should switch this out, and it beats the Empoleon for sure, since it's weakened, and I can just superpower it again, and we saw it does plenty of damage. And it does a ton of damage to the Entei, honestly. So this was an extreme misplay. This was the most important. This was my win condition, and I sacked it turn 8, which is ridiculous. And so, it was solid plan on his part to hazard stack. I feel like I could have just easily brought defog, so I can understand that, with a fat team, so be it. But if he was going to set up hazards with this and Empoleon, running defog on Tornadus literally just defeats those easily. So, you know, I could have just either taken off Knockoff or taken off Iron Tail just to U-turn out, and always make sure though that the default gets off. So that would, you know, in hindsight, definitely would have been better and would have just made this game a lot easier. But now I made the game a lot harder because I don't have Tornadus, my most important mon. But now we go into the Mamoswine, you know, go for Ice move because this is weak to Ice, but he actually has the Yachi Berry, and it does half, so clearly I would have OHKO'd it if it, you know, didn't have a Yachi Berry, but good prep on his part. He Drain Punches, gets like literally it all back. So this game's looking really bad. I'm feeling like him from last time where I kind of sacked my most important mon and I'm just gonna get destroyed. So I have to go to my Incineroar. I go for Flare Blitz. I can't mess around anymore. Like I just need to get a kill at this point so I don't get 6-0'd. As I get rid of his Balloon with the first Flare Blitz, as he goes for Toxic on my Earthquake. And I don't kill him though, so that's annoying. And his Stomping Tantrum doesn't kill me because I have the Shucka, so I do kill the Entei thankfully, but this game's looking so bleak. Like, I'm not giving up, but I have to get rid of the Gengar in all honesty, and weaken the Chestnut for my Sock to really do anything. And I still have to weaken the Diancie too, so and make sure I'm not in range of the Weavile Ice Shard. So I go to my Snorlax, but I don't take the 2 Sludge Waves because I'm poisoned and the hazard damage. So this is just really, really getting bad. And so right now, I go into this, you know, Screaming Scarf. So I assume he's thinking I might go for Knockoff or Ice Punch, something. I don't know. I just go for Close Combat because I'm like, fuck this. He's got it. He's gonna switch, and he just goes right back as I just go for the Close Combat again. I needed to make, you know, another play, but then again, I really don't have a play for this because what I have left is not much for this Gengar, so I'm pretty sure he has Shadow Ball, but I have to go to Slowbro and find out. And I think, even though it doesn't really help me to Mega, I just do, just cause, but I live with 3. Scald, I guess it helps in the sense that I needed that damage, but even with a burn it wouldn't have killed, so whatever roll it may have been, I don't even know if it was a roll. I don't get the kill, so I mean, Chestnut wins. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. So this game's pretty much over. Like, I got destroyed because I have to lock myself into close combat anyway. So I could have gotten a kill, I guess, with Earthquake or Knockoff, but oh well. So I lose 5-0. You know, Poetic that we lose 5-0 after winning 5-0 the last season, and I really played poorly. I should not have played the game on this day for sure, but that doesn't take away from Daniel. Just, I mean, he made the correct plays in that he stuck to a game plan that it clearly looked like, hey, get some hazards up, and then not much can switch in, and he was correct with that, especially with me not bringing Defog. So kudos to Daniel. He definitely deserved this win, and for my sake, I need to, with this team, prep more carefully and play a lot more carefully, because I didn't bother calcing in this match, and that was just a mistake. I definitely was not in that right mindset to even try to succeed, but which I 100% needed to even potentially have a chance to win, let alone, I got destroyed, and rightfully so. So hopefully we come back in week 2 with a much better performance, but unfortunately we start off really poorly, which not great for the unconventional team, but you know what, I feel like I can do better both in prep and play, so I will do better. I'm gonna promise that I do better. I know this team is going to be fun to use, and I know it can be good. It has that potential, so I know that I will do better, and you guys can keep me accountable if you're actually watching this far. And again, for those people who are watching this far, thank you for watching. But I'll be back with more Hive videos for sure, but at the very least with next week's battle. So thank you for watching. Bye!